YouTube, it's your boy Gadden, and we're back on gaming. Welcome to my GGC. Without any hesitation, let's get it. YouTube, what it is, it's your boy Gadden, and I'm back with another video. Please take the time to like the video if you like the video, and I have a feeling you're gonna like this one, especially if you are a boxing fan. Make sure you subscribe if it's the first time to my channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell on all. I got all types of content coming your way. So let's get into this video. I'm making this video because one, I am a boxing fan, and two, there is just too much proof, too many hints that EA will be making a new Fight Night boxing video game. I truly believe it's coming. I'm almost willing to put my word on this one. So where should we start? I think we should first start off with a shout out to Steel City Interactive. They are the developers and publishers who had the guts to first return to the boxing video game simulation genre. When they released their game Undisputed, it sparked so much interest. EA would not be making this new Fight Night game if it wasn't for Steel City Interactive's Undisputed boxing game. When they released that game, that sparked so much interest that I really think EA just could not ignore it anymore. Let's look at some Steam stats for Undisputed. The game has sold 383,000 units and the gross revenue is $9.2 million. EA ain't gonna ignore those numbers, especially because those numbers are only available to PC Steam users. The game has not released on Microsoft or Sony or even Nintendo systems yet. But let me backtrack just a little bit. At or before February 20th, Oscar De La Hoya, Hall of Fame boxing legend, creates a very interesting Twitter/X post reminding the boxing community that he was the cover boy to Fight Night Round 3 that was released in 2011. Wow, time flies. Best-selling boxing game ever. Over 6 million copies sold. Huge announcement soon regarding the gaming sector. Now, why would Oscar De La Hoya make such an interesting post like that? Well, it's obvious. EA is about to make an announcement for a new Fight Night simulation boxing game. And it's not just that. Famous boxing promoter Eddie Hearn of DAZN has been pitching EA ideas and hinting at a game.
Got this little Fight Night idea, which I've pitched to EA Sports, which is really interesting. And it's actually, it's not just a virtual game, it's much more complicated than that. Do you know what? There's a lot of questions about Fight Night. I had a call the other day with EA Sports. I keep telling them, like, every time I mention Fight Night on social media, it goes mad. I think the return of EA Sports Fight Night would be huge.
I have to reiterate, there's been no official announcement for a new Fight Night game to come. But when there's smoke, there's just fire. And speaking of smoke, according to VideoGameChronicles.com VGC, EA is set to revive its classic boxing series Fight Night in the near future. Development sources have said, according to people with knowledge of EA Sports label's plans, the new Fight Night, which is currently codenamed Moneyball, has been greenlit and entered in early development. This article dates back to November 2021, and here's where it gets a little interesting. Stay with me, I'm gonna put all the pieces together for you. Watch this. So the article also states, in a studio-wide email seen by VGC, EA Canada told staff that its focus would be on EA Sports UFC 5 for the foreseeable future. EA Canada is EA Vancouver, just to let y'all know. As I read on, the email explained that strong marketplace competition had made it challenging to staff up for Fight Night, which was intended to enter production alongside UFC, and that it did not want to split its senior creatives between two fighting game projects. Well, looking at what happened with UFC 5, you could clearly see UFC 5 received little attention between the development cycle of UFC 4 and going on to UFC 5. Users have been trashing UFC 5. Just look at the Metacritic rating, a 2.7 with 107 user ratings. Some of these reviews read as, same thing as the past two UFC games. All they ever do is slightly update the combat, It feels a little bit better than the last one, has better graphics and animations, and that's about it. It is honestly crazy how neglected the career mode is, not having near as many features that even Madden has, and Madden is not good either. Just disappointing because you can make a UFC game so cool. Do not buy. Obviously, this user was highly upset at the game. I honestly bought UFC 5. I'm having a good time, and the reason why I'm having a good time because I have not played any UFC game ever. But you can honestly see how UFC 4 and UFC 5 are damn near identical. Another user's review reads, "This is a copy and paste of a terrible game. 2 and 1 were okay, 3 and 5 have been terrible. EA has yet to make a good UFC game. A standalone, maybe it's a 5, but the fact that it's a copy and paste sequel drops the score. For other users, I could totally understand them not liking it as much. It's a total cash grab in my opinion." So with these user scores, you could clearly see that this game, UFC 5, is a clear copy and paste. I think that they had to recreate the game from scratch and put it on the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. That does take a long time, but for the amount of employees that EA Canada or Vancouver has, they have 1,300 employees. At least 500 to 600 of those employees have to be engineers, developers, animators, whatever. They have enough to make a really great game, unless, and I'm not giving them a total pass, they're working on another game. And that other game, in my opinion, is Fight Night. We've gone over the hints, we've gone over the numbers, which EA never ignores, and we've gone over maybe the biggest proof, the lack of innovation from UFC 4 to UFC 5. Let's actually look at UFC 5, the gameplay. MMA fighting naturally is going to have kicks, grapples, and punches. When it comes to the grapples, there's a certain physicality that the UFC games has. That software that's already built could be used for clinches in boxing and close fighting. Boxing elements that are sorely missing from Steel City Interactive's undisputed boxing game. What the devs did with the UFC games is added an assortment of punches. You have hooks, uppercuts, jabs, both going forward, back, left, and right. So really, the foundation for a boxing game is already in EA Sports UFC games. I mean, I think it could be a really good game. And on top of that, this is so what EA would do. EA always takes the road with less travel, but charge you the price of the scenic route. You want even more proof? Well, you can actually play as boxers in UFC games. In UFC 4, you could play as Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. In UFC 5, you could play as Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, which you're seeing on your screen right now. So it's obvious in my eyes that EA Sports is working on a new Fight Night game. You can expect that game to be built off the Frostbite engine. And look at that, we're gonna have 2 boxing games on the market with Steel City Interactive and EA Sports Fight Night, whatever the name of it, new boxing game that's gonna hit the market sooner or later. And don't think for a second Steel City Interactive does not know this. They know, and I'm sure they are preparing. That's going to do it for this video. What do you think about this interesting news and findings that I presented to you guys? Are you guys boxing fans? Will you be interested in a new boxing game coming out from EA Sports? Let's talk about it in the comment section below. Gamers, remember, keep on gaming. That's all I got, so I'm out of here.